This show is brought to you by PPR Capital Management. Did you know there's a way to invest passively in real estate and get monthly income without dealing with tenants, maintenance, or property management? If you're an accredited or high net worth investor, you can earn cash flow without the headaches by investing in a private equity real estate fund. With nearly $1 billion in assets under management, PPR has provided investors with steady, truly passive monthly income since 2007 without ever missing a payment. To learn more, check out pprcapitalmanagement.com/birds.
Welcome to Between the Vines. It is a somber show this morning after our late night defeat last night. Don't bet on the birds. Stick your money with PPR if you want some real good return.
There you go. There you go. Speaking of betting on the birds, I mean, starting this game, the line was what, 2.5?
Yeah, I don't even know.
It was 2.5 favorite. The birds were favored. Eagles were favored by 2.5 points. They haven't covered in the past couple of weeks, of course, because they've been getting beat. But that's wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, last night was the time. Last night was the time to turn the tide, right? To get everybody to stop worrying, to stop being concerned, to come out and throw together a complete performance on national TV against a good team, right? And it just didn't happen, dude. We're falling short over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, there's a lot that's just going on with this team. Every year, I guess whenever this team was successful, they always found little gimmicks to hop on, So, we're going to go through this real quick. All right. So 2017, 2017, it was the dog, the dog mentality. Everybody had the dog mask. Yeah. But the thing that was unique about that team was that they had each other back. So I felt like the dog mentality was awesome because you had a pack of dogs, a pack of men that rallied around each other, and they were able to pull it off and go win the Super Bowl. Last year you had, A.J. Brown with the self-help book, that everybody started reading this book. It was the bestseller. I can't even remember the name of the book, but, it was a bestseller, and, everybody jumped on that wagon. Then you move to this year and you say, you know what? We need a rallying cry. We need something that can pull this team together and get the city behind us. And here we go. This is what we need. We go and get a damn blow-up positive rabbit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. The positive, the good vibes bunny.
The vibes bunny. Put it in the middle of the locker room. This damn thing is massive.
Yeah.
You have this massive ass bunny. And the funny thing about it,
probably bought on discount because it's not Easter anymore.
It's not Easter. And it says Happy Easter. But the funny thing about it is that it was right after Petula just got his house egg.
Easter egging. Trey, gumshoe Trey Thomas connecting the dots.
We go and get this damn bunny. And you put it in. I wonder, did the bunny make it through the night? Is the bunny deflated?
Thoughts on the bunny. I was all for the bunny before I saw the display on the field. Sometimes you need something out of the box to just let everybody know, hey, relax, dude. We got a good team. Everybody just needs to relax, have a good time, do their thing, and we're going to end up winning. Because sometimes, dude, when the mental part of this starts to spiral, it can spiral out of control fast. And sometimes you need that reminder. Dude, I remember back to when we were playing. Things weren't going great. What'd Trey do? Pull out the old leather helmet, right?
Yeah.
Walk around the facility with the leather helmet on. And it was funny, right?
Yeah.
Not as glaring as a positivity bunny,
No.
But it was funny. And then we joked around, and it just kind of took us back to simpler times. And so I'm kind of thinking that's where they were going with this. Hey, everybody laugh, it's football. We got a good team. Let's get this thing back on track. And it would have been great. And the bunny would have taken off, and you would have seen Eagles fans across the globe with positivity bunnies in their yard.
everywhere. The bunny. I think a lot of fans had their finger on the Amazon button, ready to, like, you know what? Send me the bunny.
Yeah.
Send me the bunny. I'm gonna have all this. Forget Elf on the Shelf, Santa Claus out in the front yard. Damn that! I want the positivity bunny. And
Yeah.
and it just from jump. Soon as the game started, we come out there. I mean, it seemed like we were starting to get a drive going. We end up having to turn the ball up, kick the ball off, punt it. And then, the Chargers, which I still am struggling with saying LA, the LA Chargers
Yeah.
just comes down and drives down and scores right out the gate. So which side of the ball you want to start on?
Well, I mean, let's talk about defense first, because I do feel like there are some positives there to talk about.
Absolutely.
I the first half and the second half, once again, two different stories. You know what I mean? Like it really looked like we couldn't stop a nosebleed in the running game in the first half. And they just looked like they were, one thing that I kind of notice when I'm watching a game is I kind of step back and I just kind of see which way guys are falling. Are they falling this way or are they falling this way? And that a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times that can just kind of deliver or send the message of like who's playing inspired. Like is the defense playing inspired or are they getting ran over and trying to tackle the guy as they're getting ran over?
Mm-hmm.
Are they delivering the hit or are they receiving the hit and trying to not, have a broken tackle? You know what I mean? And I felt like in the first half, and it could have been, a lot of times when you see two different halves, it's, a game, it's like a schematic change at halftime or something. Like they see like, okay, this is working. We need to stop that. And that totally could be what it was. But I also think that if you're making the proper adjustments at halftime, your guys are going to feel more inspired instead of just sending them back out there and say, hey, we're doing the right things. It's going to eventually click, No, hey, we were getting the ball moved on us. We need to make these adjustments and we need to go out there and stop them. And I really think that happened. So, what was it? 7 sacks at the end of the game, something like that. I do think that we were doing a pretty good job of covering. I think that Herbert played a really good game. I mean, here we are complimenting the other team again. But like, you gotta respect the game. Like when people are playing like that, dude. Like some of those throws he was making, and nothing away from Jalen was making some nice throws too. But like Herbert was just playing out of his mind. He used his legs when he needed to. I just thought that our defense came out in the second half and looked way better. And they made the adjustments that we needed to make to slow them down and be able to win the game.
Yeah, I think for me, our secondary really played out of their mind. I think that our secondary really came out there and had a really good game plan. They were sticky, were on the receivers a lot, was always challenging, gave your defensive front time to get after Herbert. You knew that Herbert had a injured hand. So for this team to go out there and just really go after him, finish the game with 7 sacks, I think Jordan Davis played out of his mind. He had an amazing game out there. Nakobe Dean, I am always shocked when I see him just run through a running back. If I were the offensive line coach, there's absolutely no way I would just say, all right, back, take him right down the middle. Just call 5-0. Put the center on him.
Right.
Put the center on him, and then, that takes care of that. But you let Nakobe Dean run right down the middle. I mean, Nakobe Dean runs through running backs. Yeah. And he's extremely effective at it.
Absolutely.
But I felt like, as a whole, our defense, I thought that the secondary played a really good game. You gave up some passes. I mean, that's the game of football. But, I think overall that they were sticky and they gave that. Anytime I go out there and I say, all right, you know what, they have this high sack total, it's usually because of secondary, because the secondary dictates sacks.
Right. And yeah, you did exactly what I was thinking about Nakobe Dean. I was like, how can they keep doing this? Like, I love the fact that they keep trying to do this, but it sure makes a lot more sense to me. Let's stop that penetration with a lineman And then maybe we can have the back chip and end up field, or just like kind of get in his way a little bit, because you can't get in somebody's way in the A gap. You know what I mean?
No, dude, there's no way I would put my running back. If I see either Nakobe Dean or Zach Bond right down the middle, I'm saying 5-0, 5-0
Absolutely.
center. You take him running back. You take anything that comes outside. If nothing comes outside, you go. But there's no way I'm putting a running back in the A gap, trying to take these guys on, because they don't do moves. They are running through running backs, which I enjoy seeing. I think that it's awesome seeing linebackers, because to me, I always felt like when linebackers blitz, sometimes they have no idea what they're doing. It's like they get the stutter step and they do all this little bullshit.
Yeah.
Get
It's like it becomes a hand game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's no, just run through him. That's the easiest way to get to it. And I think that these guys have been extremely effective.
Yeah, I mean, dude, think about how many sacks could we have had? Nakobe had him in the grasp like 2-3 times that he ended up getting away. So it could have easily been a 10-sack game for us.
Absolutely. Jordan Davis had one where he had his hands on it.
Yep.
And this is without having Jalen Carter in there with his shoulder injury or whatever he has going on with his shoulder.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was going to bring up is it was nice to see the defense respond this way, being down one of their dominant players, because you never know who's going to step up, who's going to fill in, if it's going to be a collective thing or if somebody's going to just all of a sudden shine brighter, because that one guy. And dude, I don't know whether it was his plan or whatever, but Jalen Carter, not Jalen Carter, but Jordan Davis, he had a game, like you were saying, man. He took this opportunity. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna have to take a lot of responsibility of this game," and he handled it, dude. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good. And it's interesting to me because you put him in, and because he could be like my man out there in Kansas City, the big D tackle that can bounce around, Chris Johnson, I believe, Chris Jones. Where you can have somebody that can move around, that's a massive individual that can cause a lot of problems. I don't know how effective he would be if you put him out there over a tackle. But you put him in first and second downs, man. And I mean, he was just a game wrecker yesterday. I would like to see more of that from him.
Yeah.
See more of that from him. He even showed some of his pass rush ability. That would keep him on the field a little bit more, because you saw him when it started getting into second and long or third and long. You run him off, and then you bring BG in to kind of get that NASCAR package. But, I think that the more Jordan Davis continues to show this, the more he would show that he's a multiple down player.
Absolutely. So what do you think, if you had to pick one thing in the first half that was kind of not there, what would you think it was? Was it, because in my opinion, I thought that, we've been raving about our linebacker play this year so much. And I just think that they kind of had a down half that first half, because I thought that like you said, the secondary was playing well. I thought that the front four was holding the line pretty well and stuff. And I feel like the backers were just a little absent in that first half. And you really saw them starting to fill the gap and make a difference in the second half of when the back was breaking it to them, or not even getting a chance to break it to them because they were feeling a little better. Is that a matter of the D line, like not letting somebody get to the second level, or is that just like maybe a schematic adjustment at half?
I think it was more of a schematic adjustment. Let's come downhill. Let's get down in there. If you see run, go get it. Don't sit back on your heels. But I thought that the Chargers did a good job of mixing in some play action and keeping the linebackers off balance with some of the plays that they were calling. And I thought that the Chargers offensive line did a good job of getting up to the second level and opening up some of those holes. But I felt like the second half, it was more of let's get downhill and let's stop them before they get going.
Yeah. Trey, you drink anything this morning?
Of course I am. I have my Italian red blend that I just bottled up.
Oh, dude, how is it? Let me get a little. Let me get a little tasting here. Go ahead.
It's pretty tasty. It's something that my Italian red blend that I started. I don't know how many months ago, but it's still a young wine, but it's pretty good. I like it. It has a little sweetness to it. But overall, I've been very pleased with it.
What kind of so what's your difference here? You've done another red, or is this your first red?
Oh, I've done a couple reds, but this is just one that I bought the juice from Pintos out in I don't even know what township it is, but I go out there and I get my juice from them. So it was Italian red blend that I bought and just put it.
So the juice was already blended?
Well, the juice was already there, so I just go in and just get the juice. Because I'm not sitting up there trying to. I don't. With me being down here in my basement, I'm not trying to get a crushing machine and all that, the stemmer and all that. I go buy the juice and then I just get going.
Right. So what I was saying is, like, when you buy it, is it like 3 different Italian juices that you're blending?
No, it's already there.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I got you. Well,
yeah. What are you having?
Since it's a rough morning, I'm starting off with a tequila. So this is a tequila that I actually have aged myself. So I bought this big oak barrel, right? And from this restaurant in Philly called Tequilas, right?
Okay.
My guy Oscar hooked us up with, I think, 20 cases of their tequila, their reposado. And what we did was we dumped them all into the barrel, and then you just let it sit there and kind of age in the char and everything in there. And I think, man, I must have done this like probably close to 10 years ago. And so now, this is like a 10-year aged tequila. When I first started drinking it, it and I were both very immature, and we needed to age properly. And I think that we've aged properly together. And now there's a nice smoothness to it. Let me go ahead and give you the profile here. The nose is strong on it, but it has a sweetness to it,
Okay.
I don't think you're supposed to swish tequila around like you do wine.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, you just go ahead and just have at it.
So you can taste I feel like the char from the barrel, the longer that it sits in there, it helps it to make it a little smoother, or that's just the oak. But I think like that what the char does is maybe there's like some weird caramelization or something, because it makes it have a little bit more like vanilla hint the longer that it sits in there,
Okay. Awesome.
So, what's the funny looking bottle one? Clase Azul. You ever had the Clase Azul or whatever?
Man, it's been so long since I've had tequila. Yeah.
That's right. Now.
Yeah. It's been a while.
He's a winemaker.
It's been a while.
Anyway, it's got like a sweet vanilla taste to it, and then the longer that I let this sit, the closer it gets to that, I feel like. So
cool.
But anyway.
Cool. Yeah, man. All right. Well, let's move on to offense.
Yeah, let's move on to offense.
All right.
Where I feel like everybody thinks that this would fix everything if we could figure out what was going on offense.
Yeah. Because everybody was like, "Hey, man, we got to get this moving." Coach Sirianni got more involved in the offensive preparation and just making sure that everything was on point. And there were some concepts that I thought that was good. Hey, man, I felt like we got Dallas Goedert involved in the game plan a lot more. That was awesome. Seeing Dallas, he was targeted 10 times, had 8 catches for 78 yards. You go out, A.J. Brown was targeted 13 times, 6-for-100. But I feel like there were times with A.J. where, I don't know, there are times where I just need a little bit more effort. I need a little bit more tenacity. I need you to come down with that ball.
Yeah, the one that got picked. Yeah, dude, I understand that. There was maybe 3 that I can think of passes to AJ, and I don't want to take anything away from AJ because he's a great player, right? But
he's a great player.
I'm always under I tell my kids this all the time: if it hits your hands, you should catch it, right? And I know that's not possible 100% of the time, but it hit his hands probably 3 times and he did not catch it. And I'm just thinking, man, those were some big plays that didn't end up happening. If we're going to run a go on the sidelines to you, you've got to do something more than just try to make a one-handed catch. If we're going to throw, and I'm not saying it was a great throw, and then you're going to go try to catch it above your head and it hits both of your hands, that should not slip through your hands. You know what I mean? Like, that's a recipe for disaster. It probably would have been better off if you didn't even touch the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he does seem, I mean, overall, the whole board, I feel like they seem a little uninspired. And then that brings me to this question that I had in an appearance I did last week, right? I was doing a Q&A with some fans. One of the fans asked me, when you were playing and, you know, they're calling plays for you and they're obviously not working, you know, from a player's perspective that's in the huddle, and you just keep getting the same plays sent out there that you realize aren't working. Like, what's the mindset in the huddle there? And like, I never, you know, thinking, it just kind of reminded me back to like, you know, when Marty ball, when we're inside the 5 and we pass it 3 times and end up kicking a field goal, you know, like, and you're coming off the sidelines, like, would you just run the damn ball? You know what I mean? Like, it, and then you end up in the 5 again, and then you're like, well, here we go. We're going to throw it 3 more times. And you kind of get this uninspired feeling about like, well, you know, they're not going to listen to what we want to do, or they're just going to keep bashing our heads into the wall. It seems tough, and it is uninspiring when you're on the field, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to, for example, that the long run Saquon had on, what was it, 4th and 1/3 and short or whatever. When you watch how they all approached the line of scrimmage on that play, they knew something was going to happen. They seemed very inspired for this new wrinkle in the offense. You know what I mean? And they executed it perfectly. Yeah, Jordan may have bear hugged Alex Mack or whatever, but whatever. Doesn't get called. Happens every play, right? But like, that was an inspired team that went up there to run that play because they were like, here's a new wrinkle. Here's something that we think is really going to work. And obviously it did. Now, I am seeing not a lot of inspiration on these gap scheme runs. They seem like they're just trying to kind of cover up people instead of displace them. You know what I mean? And I think that is just a result of like running your head into the wall over and over and not having it work. You know, when's the last time and I know that we were kind of hating along about this a while ago, but maybe this is what the team needs. Like, when's the last time we saw QB power? You know, like, we used to have that in all the time. I feel like that would lift the team up. Obviously, everybody as a fan is a little nervous about it because Jalen's getting out there and exposing himself to unnecessary hits and stuff. But he was smart with it when we run it earlier. You know, like, why don't we run that anymore? That's a whole nother level to the run game that's just kind of disappeared. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I agree with you at times that it does look a little uninspired. But that's going to be the challenge of the coaches, where you have to get these guys. Everybody needs to be on the same page, and to get them to say, okay, you know what? I know this isn't really what y'all want to do, but I need you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I need everybody to be brought in on what's going on, whether you like it or not. I still need you to go out here and do what we need you to do, because that's what it's going to take for us to be successful. You have to be able to do what you don't necessarily want to do and be successful at it, because if not, this is where we're going to continue to find ourselves in this type of situation. I feel like, you know, one of the things that you have to look at with this offense is it does have a lot of tails. Anybody that watches film, you can sit there and you can say, okay, this is a run, this is a pass, because if you read stances, you can tell. And when you start mixing in some of the formations and tendencies, it shows itself. You know, you go back and I thought that Jalen Hurts just had a terrible game.
Yeah.
You know, when you go out there and you have 4 interceptions, he had what, 5, a total of 5 turnovers, where you threw an interception, then there was a fumble, he recovered the fumble, then fumbled. Because you look at the stat and it's like, all right, 1 fumble, 1 lost fumble, 1 recovery, and it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. And then when you watch the game again, oh yeah, that's right, yeah. He recovered the fumble and then fumbled it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I was just like, wait, this is crazy. But to have 4 turnovers like that was just extremely difficult. It's hard to overcome turnovers in a game.
Oh yeah, if you want to win the turnover battle, if you want a shot at winning the game, you got to win the turnover battle.
You got to
It's
win the
very
turnover
rare
battle.
that it flips the other way.
No, I mean you had 5 turnovers in this game. That's hard to overcome. And then when you go back and you look at the last play of the game for them in overtime, that was an RPO. So if he would have handed it off, at least you would have said, okay, you know what, we got a chance, because all the offensive linemen were downfield anyway. There would have been an illegal play. So because everybody was upfield because it was a zone going to the left. Even when you can see it, because you had Devontae and you had Slim and AJ to the left, and then you had the other receiver, Dotson and Dallas to the right, and it was a handoff that was supposed to go left. You could tell the way AJ and Slim came off the ball, they wasn't expecting for this to be a pass. So Dotson ran his route, but Hurts tried to go for the throw, and there you go. If you would have just said, all right, you know what, I would have rather you walked out of that game with a tie than for you to go out there and just say, you know what, we went for it, we tried to go get it. It was now a turnover.
Hey, I know, dude. I know.
Yeah,
and we were in field goal range.
Yeah.
Not that Jake was 100%, but I mean, it's a chance to get a tie right there, which
it's
could
a chance
be
to get a tie.
Yeah, exactly, which is obviously way better than a loss. One thing that's kind of bothering me, and it's like, I don't know, it could just be that we're losing, is the demeanor. Like Jalen's demeanor, to me, like the calm, cool collectedness plays very well when you're winning, and then also when you come from behind to win. But to me, on camera last night, it did not play well. He looked overwhelmed, a little bit like confused and worrisome. Like that's how it played last night. And I understand that could just be how I'm absorbing it, because of the situation of the game and stuff. But I just don't think, like, I need to see a little bit of fire and a little bit of accountability rather than like, well, let's just keep staying the course. And it's tough. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, when you're losing, nobody wants to hear "keep the main thing the main thing."
Right? Yeah, the main thing's not working for you right now.
Yeah, no, damn that. I need you down here ripping your helmet off, getting in somebody's face, trying to inspire the troops. And I think that's one of the things that you just don't see on this team. Like, who's the leader? Who's your spark plug? Who's your guy that can go across the lines and get everybody riled up? Like you saw him one time kind of go down the line and, hit, tap everybody's hand, like, all right, guys, come on, hey, high five, and we're moving down the line. And I think that was after one of the times where the ball hit off of AJ hands and it was a interception. And, it's just like, and I know that and people always think that, okay, hey, man, you got to have somebody that's going to go and get in everybody's face. You go tell them whatever. That's not how it works in that locker room.
No.
It's a very unique
it's
balance
delicate.
that you have to get. Yeah, that you have to work out. And, I feel like, Hurts needs to give a little bit more energy because you don't have a spark plug. You don't have a spark plug that's going to get things jumped off on this team. I think that everybody's kind of settled in their role, and you just want to just cruise through this and just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, let's not take away from the fact that they're beat up front, man. I mean, and I know that's not something that we want to just kind of hang everything on, but that is tough. When you don't have the continuity and the consistency up front, it's tough to get things moving. And, Lane, obviously one of the heartbeats of the team. I think Fred came in and played pretty well yesterday, But like the things that Landon's going through, man, like I think Lane and Landon are two key pieces out there, especially Landon with the schematics of it and seeing where all the calls are and everything like that. Having him out of the lineup, I think, affects us more than people realize, And also when you're a leader like that, and you're banged up and you're just trying to get back out there and make it through and like help, it's hard to do more than your responsibility when you're just trying to survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you come back into the game because you obviously got beat up and you're hurt and stuff, but like your responsibility is probably going to drop a little bit because you're trying to focus on getting your work done and you can't help everybody around you as much.
Yeah. But I think that's just a preparation issue, that where you put Landon Dickerson in a situation where he makes all the calls. You know, when you're on the road, the whole point of keeping Cam's head up,
right, so he
during the
can see
salary cap,
everything and make,
so he can see everything and make the calls. Why is he not being that person?
yeah,
He's a smart guy. He can see what's going on. It doesn't have to always fall on Landon Dickerson's shoulders. That should be the center that's making those calls and doing all of that. That's why his head is up.
yeah,
That's why his head is up during the silent count and looking to see what's going on. Not just to sit there and chew gum and just look at the score clock or whatever it is. I mean, make a call. Put us
right,
on the same direction. It shouldn't all fall on Landon Dickerson, but that's just the way they do it. And then
right.
now you put Toth out there, and he's trying. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Toth picking that ball up off of one hop.
Oh God, bro, was that a fumble?
No, it wasn't a fumble, but I mean it was incomplete because his hand was going forward. But Toth scooped it up off one bounce.
Yeah, no, he looked
good.
good.
Trying to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it looked
solid, it was like, you know? Yeah, fumblerooski, rumbling, tumbling, stumbling. I loved it, dude. I thought he was going to cross the goal line right there. That'd have been great.
It'd been awesome. It would have been brought back, but still, I like the effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Play.
Yeah, I mean, dude, another thing that I feel like, and you know, it's just when stuff comes off like this, it's easy to nitpick. It's easy to see like little things that you could point to being like undisciplined and stuff like that. But man, I'll tell you what, we are getting dangerously close to being able to call Steen offsides or with a false start almost every play. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like to me, it looks like he's being lazy as hell. You know, as a former guard that used to have to look back at the quarterback and tap, this seems very lazy to me. And it's getting really close. I had multiple texts last night like, hey, what the heck is going on with his right guard? It looks like he's almost false starting on almost every play. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, my wife even asked me. And she's like, why is he standing up like that? And I was like, well, that's how he looks back at the quarterback. You know, maybe he's got some neck mobility issues or something. I don't know. But that's how that's their order of operations, you know? And yeah, I think that's something that's, you know, it's obviously that's not the root of all their problems, but like, you know, you start seeing these things start to compile and they are evidence of like people not like lacking discipline, I guess, you know, being lazy, you know, not touching the line, you know, all these types of things that you preach year round because it's going to end up like, if you're not paying attention to it, it's going to get you down the road. And here we are, 3 in a row.
Yeah. And then it turns into that's either you're coaching it or you're allowing it. And so that's where you have to sit there and say, okay, you know what, when you said, okay, this is a mini bye week and there was going to be some self-evaluation, there are some things that we as ex-linemen can see that weren't fixed, that need to be corrected, especially if you want to make a big push into the playoffs. So luckily, moving forward, we got we got Washington twice. We have got the Raiders, and then you know
it's weird saying Vegas. Yeah, we got Vegas coming up.
Yeah, we got the Vegas Raiders, and then we got to go to Buffalo. You know, so
and Buffalo's gonna be a tough game, obviously, but they're not playing great either.
No,
but if we're going to Buffalo, it's gonna be cold.
Oh yeah,
you know,
dude. You remember that flight when we went to Buffalo that time? It was terrible. I hated that. Was that the one where we? No.
Was that where the plane dropped?
Yeah, when the plane dropped. Yeah, we were flying to Buffalo.
Was it?
Yeah, we were flying to Buffalo. We hit an air pocket.
Yeah, man, that was. That's why they tell you to wear your seatbelt. That is why they tell you to wear your seatbelt.
But you know, when we're flying as a team, nobody wears a seatbelt. Everybody's standing up, walking around. Yeah. It's
but that's why everybody hit the roof.
Yeah, we're walking around during takeoff. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was worried about all of that. You know Hey, scratch that FFA. We do abide by the rules.
Yeah. Sorry. Of course, everybody's seated with their belts on.
Yes, we abide by the rules. We're all paying attention.
Hey, do you think they play Blu-ray anymore?
I'm sure some
You
Blu-ray
think
still
that's like a
happens.
lost art?
I don't know. I'm sure there's some Blu-ray still going on.
Sure, bro. Some of my favorite memories is of Trent Cole playing Blu-ray.
And Trent was hitting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Trent was hitting them, man. Blu-ray, man, they had you around here having to cut checks, boy. Yeah,
Exactly. They come find you in the locker room the next week.
Blu-ray will get you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, hey, moving on to special teams before we get ready to get out of here, man. I felt like, Covey,
Yeah.
when you sit back and you look at his stats, Covey had 4 punts for 4 kick returns for 103 yards. 3 punt returns for 54 yards. 157 yards of returns. But that fumble. Come on, Covey.
Yeah, I know you're sitting there thinking Reno Mahe wouldn't have fumbled that.
No, absolutely not, man. Reno definitely wouldn't have done that, dude. But,
crazy. To be honest, I was happy with what I saw from Covey, dude. And if nobody else, if the ball didn't seem so sloppy, I would have felt a lot worse about his fumble. Yeah, obviously you never want to put the ball on the ground, but nobody could hold on to the ball yesterday.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's a humidity thing where it's low humidity, so it's extra dry out there or what, but that ball seems slippery.
Yeah. I don't know. All the balls have been treated and everything else, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But and then it was just the defender did a really good job of timing it up, hit his hand, he fumbled it, but whatever. He got the ball, got back on the ball.
Yeah.
I thought Covey had a solid game out there. You still don't get no wine. But
yeah. If we were handing out wine, you'd get one, but no, you guys lost.
Yeah. We got to get Mighty Late back on track.
Hey, here's what we got to do. We got to let's go through and get a couple. Hey, would haves. Maybe this will inspire them. Hey, you would have got wine this week. Who you got on defense? For me, I would have gave Nakobe Dean some wine. I'd have sent Nakobe some wine this week because he was what you would call a game wrecker when he's blitzing through that A gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would have given Jordan Davis some wine. Just because of the game that he had. He had a massive game. On the offensive side of the ball, I would have given Saquon Barkley some wine. I felt like he ran the ball hard at times.
Yes, I would have also possibly sent Dallas Goedert some wine.
You know what? Yes, Dallas Goedert would have possibly gotten some wine. Yeah.
And on special teams, hey, Britton Covey, we would have possibly sent you a nice bottle of red.
Yeah. But
you guys lost.
Yeah. And I want to know, I need an update on the Vibe Bunny. Is it still standing? Has it been deflated?
That's really what the fans want to know right there.
I want to know.
Is the Vibe Bunny still standing in the locker room after the vibes are bad?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they probably went back. They stared at that damn bunny up out of here. The bunny is gone. The bunny is gone.
Oh no. Maybe they're adding to it. Maybe we're gonna see. Maybe we're gonna see a Vibe ghost. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. A frog. Who knows?
Maybe they need to get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah. Possibly.
Maybe we're gonna see a Vibe menorah or a Vibe Christmas tree. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah,
the possibilities are endless. There's a lot of inflatable objects out there that you can put in.
I would say that the Vibe Bunny should probably head out.
Yeah, it should be gone. It should be gone. Cool, man. Without. It's always good catching up with y'all, man.
You too, okay. Cheers, brother.
My brother. Cheers.
We'll catch up with you later.
All right, now.